Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world." And real estate is what we do. This is the Realtors Radio Network. There's no sense in overcomplicating real estate. And if you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, or a real estate agent, you're about to get useful, practical, and smart advice on every facet of real estate. Welcome to the Realtors Radio Network. Now your hosts, Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough.
Welcome to Realtors Radio Network. I think you guys know who we are by now, but I'm Marcos.
I'm Dawn.
Santos.
And we're just catching up today. I know we took a couple of weeks off with a little break, but we're back, and we just wanted to see what you guys were up to. I've been doing a few things, between the recruiting and figuring out, what the next events are with the office and traveling between offices. I feel like I've missed you guys. Like I haven't really seen you guys around.
Well, we're here. We're holding it down here.
Awesome. What have you been up to?
Teaching some classes. Just did a CMA class this morning for some of the newer agents. Santos and I went on an appointment yesterday.
On a hike.
Well,
It was a hike?
well, that's a
Oh
good
my
way to
goodness.
put it.
That's different.
Funny enough, so, we go on this appointment last night, and I actually did not go on Google Earth, which I go on Google Earth for everything.
Okay.
But I didn't go on it for this one. I don't even know why. And so I get there. I'm a few minutes early. I don't see anyone or at all. So I just think I'm early. And I happen to take a small glance to the left, and I see someone or something like waving at me.
Okay.
Like really high up. I'm
Far.
not sure if it's Santos or not.
Wait, so the property itself is like on a mountain? What's going on?
Basically.
Basically, yes.
So, but the garage is like street level.
Yes.
Oh, I've
So
seen
so
those.
now I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not really like I wasn't.
Yeah, because when it snows, you don't want to park your car all the way up on top of the mountain.
Exactly.
You want to be able to...
Yep. So I think what I see is Santos waving to me. And
You're like, hello up there.
so now I'm like, well, let me give him a call, but he's on a conference call,
Yes.
so he can't talk to me.
Oh.
So I think I see him waving. So I drive down the street a hair more because I was maybe not far enough along on the road. And I see this driveway, but I can't see the top of the driveway.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
So I...
Wait a minute. So what kind of... I mean, you're making it seem like it was really high
Oh,
up.
it was. I actually
it was?
considered, I'm like, maybe I should just park down here and walk up, but then, whatever. So anyway, I drive up. I'm brave enough
Brave enough.
to drive up this mountain.
Oh, my God. Bravery is involved.
And-
It must have been really high.
And so I'm a little nervous. And so Santos comes out to my car and he says, "Don't forget to put your e-brake on." And my car doesn't actually have an e-brake. It has like kind of that built-in like...
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
It's a
Like-
fancy car. They very smart. They do their own
Yeah,
thing.
they-
on there. They recognize. They're like, okay, we want to hike, so
Yes.
we got to put a.
It
brake.
recognizes slope, so it clamps down on your brakes for you.
So this is fine. So I get there and now I'm at the top of the mountain. And
She was like, yeah.
basically Mount Everest.
You've been to the
that's where we are,
mountaintop.
basically. So perfect. Take a look at the house, the whole bit. And now we're getting ready to leave. And actually, when I pulled up, I almost made a wrong turn and I wouldn't have been able to come back down because you kind of got to go like in a circle
Oh,
or like a half circle.
okay.
So I'm parked. We see the house and everything. And now we're getting ready to leave. And I'm like sweating bullets now. Like, how am I going to
Wait
get
a minute,
down?
right?
And
'cause
now I got to
now
get
you're
down.
headed down looking at this thing.
But
Oh, my goodness.
But the driveway, like there's no curbing or anything like that. It
So-
just kind of ends.
So if you
and then
go
there's
off, you go off?
Yes.
basically. And it's like a huge drop. And so
Wait, Santos, did you park up there?
Yes.
So you had the same feeling?
so there's three of us. So there's one car, then Santos, then me. And so I'm like, Santos, like, I'm feeling a little nervous like going down this driveway.
That is hilarious.
And he was very cool. He really even like kind of stayed in front of me, like very
so
slowly.
you went
So I
first?
didn't feel. But the person in front of
That
us
was brave.
was going a bit fast for my liking of that driveway.
Man.
And I am like sweating bullets. Like I'm nervous. Like at one point, I'm like, maybe I should just let go and just let it go because I'm so nervous and I want this moment to end because it's so nerve wracking to me that when I got to and remember, like you got to really cut to get around this kind of bend to go down. Like one wrong move,
And you're off.
and you're
the
going to
trail.
be off track. And there's no like getting back on because it's just
It's just
like
the drop off.
gravel and dirt
Oh.
and like just
There's no way to recoup after you get
no.
off.
So I made it. I'm still here. I'm
You're
alive
here?
to tell about it.
She
Wait,
made it.
So did you have the same experience? Like once you got up there, you're like, wait a minute, how do I get down? Like, is it going to be tricky? Did you have the same feeling, or is this just her experience?
It is. It is the same experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Because
I didn't know.
I usually go for a lot of hikes, so it felt like when you go up a mountain,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can see the top, and you just have to go up.
You have to
Like,
trust that it's there.
Exactly. So before you go up, you get off the car, you look up, you're like, okay, I can do this, and then you trust the process. So
But coming down is tricky too because
Yes.
now you're looking. You know what came to mind when you guys were talking about that, about how high, and then I was thinking coming back down. So my first time in an airplane, like in a commercial airplane, like cockpit, traveling down, because if you're flying anywhere, you're just looking across the window, right?
Yep.
But when a 747 airliner is traveling down at the ground to land, it's a very, very different experience because in your head, all you're seeing is, oh my God, we're gonna crash. Like this is good. Like you don't think that, hey, no, this thing it levels off, right? Because you're coming down from up there, it just looks like, man, the Earth is coming up really fast, like it's coming up to meet you, right? So that's what all I was thinking about when you were talking about. Okay, now you have to go back down, and I'm thinking, man, that's a scary feeling because when you're high up on something and you have to, everything's terrifying. It's like multiplied, when really. If you slow things down, you think, okay, maybe it's not. Let me just keep going inch by inch. But in the moment, you feel like this is it. This is the end.
Well, I had considered just parking at the bottom and walking up, but there's no staircase or anything. So I couldn't figure out the lesser of two evils on that. But it reminded me of another story. So many years ago, I got this listing. And the first time I went there, had a very similar driveway, by the way, but it was a little bit more windy, but similar instance where, like, if you literally went off the blacktop, I don't really know what would happen because.
Wait, is this the one that I'm thinking about? Because you're the one in.
It was in Pompton Lakes.
Yes, I remember that listing.
So I go there the first time, and by the time I get to the top, I'm just terrified. But this one had a little bit more landing space, if you will, to like make a U-turn. Not the one last night. So everything's great. I'm going to list that house. And so now I'm going to go back the following week to meet the photographer. And this particular property, you couldn't really see the homes because it was just so far up and just the way that they were positioned. You couldn't really see the homes from the street. So the photographer is going to come, and I'm really nervous about driving up this driveway. I'm terrified. And you have to make this really, like, sharp turn to get in the driveway and this whole thing. And I finally get to the top. And I'm like, just like, thank goodness, right?
Moment of relief.
What a relief.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was at the wrong house.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
It was the wrong driveway. I was one house too soon.
No.
So now, and it's single lane. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Like now I have to go back down. But what if someone's coming up? And actually, if they were coming up while I was coming down, you wouldn't see the person right away. And all this stuff is going through my mind, and I'm still at the top.
And you're at the wrong house, wrong driver.
I'm at the wrong house, and I'm terrified. Like if somebody comes up, I don't even know who backs up, right? Like you start to think of all these crazy things.
Oh my goodness.
And so now I'm like just panicking. Like I don't want these people to be wondering like what is not like no one would be in this driveway.
Yeah, if you didn't have any business to.
And so anyway, okay, so I get back to the bottom and I'm like, okay.
I have to do this again.
You know what? I didn't go back up. When I got to the right house, I just parked on the street.
Oh.
But that hike up, man.
I remember that house. That was crazy. That was a big slope.
Yep.
And I remember the house was it had such a steep slope that they used to park at the bottom. If that's that's the house I'm thinking about. Yep.
Yep. Especially in the winters, there's just unless you're putting chains on your tires, which is illegal here. It's pretty scary, but I guess you get used to it. I don't know. I don't know if I could, but I guess if you live somewhere for 40 years, you get used to it.
I guess so.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about it, we have to do an open house on that property like in 2 to 3 weeks. How are we going to handle that?
So we talked about this.
How
so
are we going to handle that open house?
I basically said to Santos, if he wants me to be there, the terms are as follows.
Okay.
I'm either going to park on the bottom or he has to pick me up.
Either way sounds like a good solution.
So, but people are coming to see the open house. Should they park on
I
the
don't
street,
even know.
or
I don't know
should we
that.
let them come up?
Man.
I am not even sure. Maybe a zip line would be.
At least if you know that if they're brave enough to go up, at least you know that they're buying the house.
So the only issue I have with it, and that's very true, the only issue I have with it is there needs to be some serious traffic control. I kid you not. There's not enough
Room to
landscape to do any type of K-turn or anything like that. There's just not enough landscape there.
That is a very
It's a
good
little
point.
circle at the top, and that's it. Like you go up,
You're heading back down.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should keep that
So
in mind. for
actually,
sure.
I think any of the hosts will need to park at the bottom. Or you could bring me up, drop me off, and park back on the bottom.
I'll do that.
Just to not have any traffic there because...
Yeah. You don't need any extra cars up there.
And at the entrance, I'll have one of those yellow jackets.
Yeah, there you go.
You need the little wand
Yeah,
to like
with a
wave
little
the
stop
tra-
sign.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
stop sign.
Go slow, stop.
Slow. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, as real estate agents, we also handle traffic control,
that's right.
especially at busy open houses. But I think we're good on that.
We got it.
Santos, what have you been up to?
Real estate's an adventure, right?
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah, it's true. So what have you been doing the last couple of weeks?
Showing a lot of houses.
Yeah.
Counseling a lot.
Yeah. Listen,
Therapy.
the market's still busy, right?
Yes.
The market's still busy. A lot of changes in the
It's
industry,
a health-
but
yeah.
everybody's still going. So
It's a healthy market. The economy is healthy.
right.
People are still interested in buying. We need more people interested in selling.
And
Yes.
people like Santos showing houses. So you've been showing houses.
Thank you. Yes, I've been showing a lot of houses. Actually, last weekend, I did like 30 showings, I think.
Wow.
Wow.
So there's not a lot of inventory, but there's properties out there. So as long as you're out there showing, something's gonna come up.
Any networking events? Any fun stuff?
We have a couple of events coming up. Actually, Dunn have one, right? In
Oh, yes.
Yep.
in like a week.
That one's coming up, yeah. But I've been to a couple of get-togethers. I've been going golfing a little bit.
We
Now that
did
the
some
we-
golfing, yeah.
The weather's picking it back up, and hopefully next week we can go the night golf. You're welcome to come, by the way. I know
Well, thank you.
you don't golf with the guys, but
Do you have
Yeah.
glow-in-the-dark golf balls?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
need those for nighttime golfing.
yeah. We actually, a few of us here went out and bought some. I have like 3 of them in the car right now just to make sure I don't forget them.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that should be fun. I played this morning, actually, early in the morning before work. So that was fun, too.
Nice.
I've been doing some cold calling. It's not easy. And a little bit of door knocking, following up with clients. So it's been good. It's
Okay,
been
good.
It's picking
Yeah,
up.
I've been seeing a few people having more luck with the cold calling and door knocking lately. So that's always a good good source of business, right? To call people. Sometimes people aren't even thinking about real estate at all or selling until you call them, and then they sparks
Yes.
a little thought of, hey, maybe it is time to sell. Maybe it is time to go. A little change of scenery.
Or
So you never
maybe
know.
even sometimes just not knowing how much equity they have in their home or understanding how the market is right now.
Right.
And I think in terms of buyers, I know sometimes it can be discouraging out there, but sometimes just changing a little bit of the parameters of what you're looking for, whether it's by location or price or a few of, the must-haves maybe aren't as much as a must-have, or you can add it in, in the future. Just changing that up a little bit. Actually, I just got an offer accepted because of that. My client wasn't considering, a couple things. They only wanted something that was 1 second on the market. And we happened to see a property that is back on the market. The buyer couldn't get finance. The previous buyer couldn't get financing. It wasn't anything with the house in particular. And it needed a little bit of updating, but ultimately it's going to be better than the houses they were looking at that were already updated and actually a little bit smaller. So I feel really good about that. I'm so happy for them. They're so happy. And I think just thinking slightly outside the box of how can we get you to be, how can we get you into a home that's meets your family's needs and still works for you, whether it's budget or location or things like that. And so I'm real happy for them on that.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, congratulations.
But how do you manage this? Because it hit me like a ton of bricks. You said, they want to see the house that's 1 second on the market or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you manage those expectations for people who you're going to get outbid? I mean, if you're chasing a house that just came on the market, you're going to have 100, 200 people after that same house. Do you coach them on that, like to help them understand? Listen, there are going to be a lot of people.
Definitely. So there's a lot of the like shiny object syndrome to one extent, and then the other part to it is, I do have a lot of clients that specifically only want to see something that's brand new on the market, and that's okay. Right? It's almost like when they have a new car model that comes out in August or September. Everybody wants to see that reveal. They want to see what it looks like. But I do always, remind them, don't forget about the properties that are back on the market or perhaps maybe started too high in price, because those are the ones that you'll have less competition on, right? That you might be able to negotiate. In this particular case, the one that I got accepted, we got it accepted $25,000 under the asking price. So
what?
And
that's
it.
Awesome.
That's a big, that's their new kitchen, right? So, not saying that that's always the case, because sometimes something is sitting and maybe the seller does make a small adjustment, let's say in price or some type of other improvement, and it does attract additional buyers, and you could still have a bidding war on something that's sitting. But maybe they made a recent adjustment. But I think, not eliminating something like that is important, because everybody wants the house that everybody else wants, but they want to get it for a lower price. They want to get it for, not the best terms, if you will. And then the seller wants the direct opposite.
Right.
So I think, I don't think one way is wrong versus the other. I think it's just important to be open-minded and just, figure out what works best for you. Where can I get the best bang for my buck that also is okay, let's say commute-wise, that also offers us everything we want. In this particular case, the house that I'm referring to with my clients, this house is perfect for them. And it's funny, I had showed them another house recently that happened to be on 4 acres, so it's not in our direct vicinity.
Oh, right.
And they loved that house. They didn't get it. And they said, well, which house do you like better? And I actually like the one that they just got accepted better. Because even though the one had 4 acres, it wasn't usable land.
No,
This one has a really beautiful property. very usable. It's not 4 acres, but it just has a lot more for their needs. Like I truly, like with this house, I truly feel in my heart, I'm like, this is the one. Like this is the perfect house. It's exactly what they're looking for. Just one small little blemish, if you will. It needs a little bit of updating, but they can and are willing to take that on.
Okay.
So small concession on price, right? They got it for a lower price. They're going to do the kitchen. They'll get the kitchen done on their time and their dime, but the kitchen's going to be exactly what they want.
Right.
It's hard to find a house that has literally all the updates to exactly what you would pick if you were going to physically take on that project yourself.
Right. Listen, everybody's looking for that deal, right? But it's like you say every once in a while, the Dominicans in general say, lo barato sale caro.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're going for that deal, that inexpensive, that the cheapest possible thing, and that's the thing that breaks down first. That's the thing that needs the most work later. That's the thing and it ends up costing you more money than if you just bought it, a newer version of it or a more updated version of that. Just pay a little bit more. It's actually worth not having to deal with all that construction issues. Believe me, doing construction in my house, I found, that I'd rather just go out and buy a new house than sometimes than redo a bathroom.
But even a new house,
because all these, you have all this stuff that just flies. Seems like it never lands. This fine dust of it's always dusty, like for weeks after they finish. And it's obviously it's not true. You want something built custom and it's your stuff, rather. But if you can find it done already, just pay a little extra.
It's funny that you say that though, because I did a custom build with a client a number of years back, and after it was done, he said you could just bring the sign, put it up for sale, and I'm like, what? This was a multi-million-dollar custom home, beautiful, and he said, no, that's not how I envisioned. He wanted every bedroom to be a primary bedroom, but he didn't realize it until after
he was done.
It was too far, and just certain closets and things like that. So even on new construction, I feel like there's always something that
you always miss something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned something before. So it reminded me of, I'll oftentimes get clients that say, can you give me a list of foreclosures? I only want to buy foreclosures. And I ask them why. Most specifically if it's a first-time home buyer. If I have an investor, of course they want a foreclosure. They want something that's probably run down. Maybe they think they can get a lower price or whatever, and they'll rehab it or do an addition or something and flip it. But when I get, buyers who are not investors, or you know what I'm getting at with the investing side of it.
Sure.
But they're going to buy something to live in, and they say, give me a list of foreclosures or things like that. I ask them, what makes you ask specifically for foreclosures? And the answer is always the same. We want a deal. We want to get something for cheaper, right? But if you find a property that's foreclosed and it's what you deem to be $50,000 under market value, I can almost guarantee it needs at least that much work into it, and you have to have the means to do so, whether it's financially or physically, right? Sure. So most of the time when people go down that avenue, they want the cheaper house, or they want the deal. There's really no deals out there right now. No. And if there are, I'm probably going to buy them. No, just kidding. But, when you start to think about that, it's like, they're most likely going to actually spend probably more money in the end than if they would have purchased a regular resale home. And a lot of times I think they don't realize the whole process. Almost every time I've sold a foreclosed home, my clients almost say the same thing. They're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much work it was going to need.
Yes.
Or even just the process could be a bit grueling. If you've been through it, you definitely know that. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, kind of like you get what you pay for, because there's really no, we don't have that kind of market right now, and I don't see it anytime in the near future of having that kind of wheeling and dealing and, getting deep discounts. Even foreclosed homes are asking for more money right now.
True.
What you're saying right now just shows the importance of working with somebody that knows what they're doing and that experience really matters, right?
Sure.
Because sometimes I get those buyers a lot that they have an idea of what they're looking for, but most times, what they are looking for they're not ready for that, right? So now we have to coach them and show them. It's just like that first time home buyer that is like, oh, I'm looking for a foreclosure or a property that needs work. I'm like, okay, can you translate what needs work means to you? Like how much work?
Right.
Do you have a team of contractors? I do have people that I can introduce you to, right? But what's your budget for those repairs? Mm-hmm. How are you going to pay for that and all that? So that's the importance of working with an experienced realtor and somebody that knows what they're doing.
That's true, because if you have the right person working with you, they can help you verbalize what you're actually looking for. Because what you think in your head and what is actually out there are two separate things.
Yes.
Until you get that realtor who's had that experience of knowing this is what they said, but this is actually what they're talking about.
Yes.
And it's not available. And then it's up to you as a professional to explain, listen, I know what you said, but mentally, this is what I heard. I'm going to verbalize it, and you tell me if this is what you're really, and then let the two ideas mesh together and make sure that, okay, yeah, that's what I meant. I'm looking for a really discounted house that needs minimal work, not all this major work, because that's what they're telling you.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, I heard you can get because everybody has a friend, right? Oh, my friend bought a house, foreclosed house, for only $10,000.
Where was that?
Yeah, it's always an astronomical number below what the real market value is, right? Mm-hmm. And then, and it was really inexpensive to get, and it was foreclosed, and the next day it was worth $100,000 because they put two nails.
Yes.
No, you didn't do that. That didn't happen. Like, we can see what people actually sold their houses for. You can see what you bought them for. Yeah. That's not what And in a lot of these cases, we've been in these homes. We know what they actually look like.
Yes.
We know all the work that needs to go into it for you to get it even habitable in some cases, let alone updated.
That's definitely true.
So, it's never, you have to know that who you work with does matter.
Does matter,
It really does.
And that's one thing that I really love, like being able to be the expert to help that family to make this important decision. That's something that translate. The transfer from, I used to own a computer repair shop, right? And I used to recommend a lot of softwares, hardware, computer. And people would come to me with this idea, oh, my friend told me to get this computer. And I was like, wait a minute. You don't need that computer. What you going to use it for? Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, I'm just using it for Facebook back then, right? MySpace. And I was like, okay, so you could get this and save some money. Or, we would do a whole buyer's consultation, right? Like, what are your needs? How long you going to keep it for? Is there any, is your lifestyle is going to change in the future? You might want to do some music. Back then, people wanted to get into music. Yeah. I used to get a lot of people like that. So I would just, refer them to the proper hardware. So it's the same thing in real estate, doing a good service, just being that expert and having that buyer's consultation and guiding the buyer, that family, to make the right decision.
Right, because in some cases they come to you with an idea as, I want this 4-bedroom house with 3 acres, and I want it, 5 minutes from New York City. And you're like, wait a minute, what you just described that you want so close to New York City only exists about 45 minutes away.
Yes.
So, we have to figure out, let's rework that idea. Do you want 4 acres, or you want a quarter of an acre? Because a quarter of an acre, we can go back closer to New York. A half an acre, we still have to go back 30 minutes away from New York. So let's figure something out. Like, it's up to that professional to guide them. But I want to go back to what we've been doing in the last couple of weeks. Have anybody tried any new restaurants? Or wait, weren't you traveling before? You were away somewhere.
Yes, and I'm about to go away again. I'm going to Dominican Republic again in 3 weeks.
Nice.
But I tried this restaurant.
I may see you.
Is it in the mail?
I'll see you there.
I'll
probably be over there.
Last time you were there too,
right?
right?
We were both at the same time.
We couldn't get together because of the rain.
It
was raining hard.
And we were a little bit farther apart at one point. But at one point we were like 20 minutes away from each other, but it was like raining so crazy.
Actually, that day I was dancing in the rain, like literally.
Nice.
We need videos. We need a video.
I'll send it to you. I have it.
Did you wait a minute? We were caught in the rain in Florida, and that really crazy.
Oh, do you remember that?
When I was about to get on the what is it?
The roller coaster. No, not the roller coaster. The
slingshot.
The slingshot.
Oh, the slingshot.
We have to go back for that.
Yeah, that was.
Who's we? I'll do the video.
Well, you and Jose were gonna do it.
Yes.
You and Jose.
We pay and everything.
I have a video of the people who got on right before you guys. I have a video of that.
So interestingly enough, we were talking about this
Yesterday.
last night at that appointment, and I was thinking that a zip line would really work for that property.
Oh wow, zip line.
I mean, or maybe a conveyor belt. I don't know.
Hey, that could be a thing to sell it. Like that could be a selling point.
You have your own zip line.
I mean, there's room. There's room for it. There's enough.
For the open house, park downstairs, and we will have that zip line for you to go down. There you go.
The valet will go get your car.
Some type of a ski lift. I mean, it really would be ideal.
A ski lift. Wow. That's an image, where this house is all the way up there. You need a ski lift to go.
It shows you that property has a lot of potential.
That's true.
I'll tell you that when you're at the top and really it has this beautiful wraparound porch. And when you're at the top and you're just like semi feeling like you're on top of the world for a split second, it really was serene.
Nice views.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it's just the other property that I had that I was telling you guys about had a gorgeous lake view from the top. So I think it kind of made it worth it. But yeah, once you get to the top, it's incredible. And you really, if you're a person that likes nature and you don't want to be close to your neighbors, this is it. This is, it's a great property for that. I'm a city girl, so I can't survive out there. It is in Bloomingdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, little free promo for that.
There you go. Listing. But going back to I try a new restaurant.
Okay, hit me. Which one?
I think it's Richfield Park. If anybody's interested, you have to reach out to me, be it Instagram, and I'll give you the information. But they have this Dominican and Italian fusion, and it's a chimi pizza.
What?
And rabo pizza.
Wait a minute, chimi pizza.
Wow.
Yes,
that's interesting.
It's the meat, cabbage, everything that they put on the chimi is on a.
All right, so we're gonna talk offline.
The sauce and all. Does it have the sauce?
I'm gonna need that information.
It has the chimi sauce.
It has a chimi sauce too. Yeah.
Just checking.
And how about you? Have you been to any restaurants lately?
I mean, I went to Houston's, which I love.
Oh, I like that place.
It's delicious, and I have to say this: the waitress was just incredible, and that's probably for me. The food is important, but the service to me has to be
absolutely
A1.
Exactly first class, top notch service is what I look for.
Yeah, I like Houston's. They have it's a good vibe. It's nice and quiet. Depending on the time of day, you can have a nice conversation and not feel, rushed. And the service is always great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
How about you?
Yes. I think since the last time I have been away, I think I was in DR for a little bit, just for a blink of an eye. It was so fast. And then where have I been? I've been to some restaurants, not new. Botagra, everybody knows about. Houston's, I've been there. Although not since the last. I actually wasn't there since the last one. I went to Houston's in maybe January. But I've been. Where did I go lately? An oldie but goodie. You're gonna like this. I think you both are gonna like this. Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay. All right.
I had you in suspense for a second, right?
It's so funny.
But it's good. Chick-fil-A is good. We
had
Chick-fil-A. Was it last week?
Last week?
What was it?
That you guys went there?
We actually ordered from there.
Yeah, we
got
ordered.
delivered to the.
Yeah, I guess it was at the golf.
The virtual.
Yeah, the virtual golf we were at.
What's so interesting? So, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who remembers of Chick-fil-A in the Paramus Park Mall in the 90s, which I totally do not remember. And when I first started in real estate, so over 19 years ago, I met a client. I met him at an open house. I had this open house. It was a snowstorm, but I was out there doing it. And one person showed up, and he ended up being somewhat famous. I'm not going to say who it is. And I ended up working with him and his family for many years, multiple investment properties. And he asked me if I wanted to partner with him in that franchise. And honestly, I had never heard. Yeah, I had never heard of it. I'm like, no, why would I want to, why would I partner with you on that? I've never even heard of this, you know? And, ultimately it's fine. Some people say, oh my goodness, you missed a great opportunity. And I look at it slightly differently, but.
Well, it's not, it's a nice franchise to be involved with, but I mean, I know because I looked into, owning a Chick-fil-A, and besides the numbers that you can make, which were not satisfactory for me for myself, but also the amount of time that you actually have to invest in this.
Well, it's so funny. Different. When we did
I'm not going to get into, the actual numbers. I can talk offline for this, but for me, it just wasn't the right move.
Well, when he kind of got me a little bit, getting my feet wet a little bit into it, I remember looking at him and laughing, and I'm like, this sounds like work.
Well, yeah.
Like it is, if you're not used to like the 12 to 15 hours of hard labor, it's probably, I don't know that much about different franchises, but they require you can't just, there's some other franchises where you can just be the owner and not the operator. That's not the case for this franchise. And that's probably why it works so well, honestly. But it's intense, hard labor.
Yeah, no, you have to work your store. You have to work your business. Yeah. If you're an owner. So that's
out of all of those like sandwiches or like sandwich franchises out there, I think that's the best. We are not sponsored, right?
Yeah, right. We're not being sponsored by Chick-fil-A. Although we wouldn't mind if you wanted to.
Exactly. There's only one thing I don't like about that franchise.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's not open on Sundays.
Not open on Sundays,
which is the days that I usually have my cheat.
Well,
meals.
that's for
that
religious.
You have to change your cheat meal day to Saturdays. Yeah. That can be changed.
Yeah, but it's a
or days that end with days. Right, like why?
Yeah.
That's a different type of.
I like their breaded nuggets. I like their grilled chicken nuggets. I like their sandwiches. I like everything about that.
I didn't know they had those. You ordered those grilled chicken nuggets.
Oh, sure.
Like, oh wow, what is this?
They're really good. So, any other restaurants? Any other places you've been? Where are you going? Anybody? You're going to DR in like soon?
Yes, like 3 weeks. I'm going to stop in Boca Chica for like 2 to 3 days.
Sure.
Definitely the capital for sure, and Jarabacoa.
Nice.
I always stop at Jarabacoa.
I've never been there. I want to go. I want to go to Jarabacoa.
You got to stop there and try their coffee at Café Colao.
No, but I don't drink coffee.
Well, if anybody wants to send me there, I'm open to receive.
Maybe you can go with Santos.
Yes.
Santos, you got room in your luggage room?
Of course.
Oh, man. All right. So I don't have anything else in between then and now other than some playing some golf. I don't think I have any restaurants I've been to. But you guys know a lot of those. Chick-fil-A I mentioned. That was a good one. No, I don't think I have anything else. But
well, it's great chatting with you guys.
Thanks, you too. I think does anybody else have anything to add? No. All right, Santos,
quick episode.
Take us out.
This is Realtors Radio Network signing off.
Bye.
Keep an ear out for the next episode of the Realtors Radio Network, where Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough share their wealth of real estate knowledge. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, review, and share. Find us on social media at Realtors Radio Network. See you next time on the Realtors Radio Network.